Hey, what's up everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Luke and today I'm going to be talking about A Complete Unknown. This is the latest from James Mangold, who has a pretty impressive resume. If you're not familiar with his work, I would expect most are. He's directed films such as Logan, Ford v Ferrari, the latest Indiana Jones, The Wolverine, Walk the Line, and many more. And for the most part, the bulk of his movies are ones that I really enjoy. So now he's back with A Complete Unknown, which is a biopic on the singer Bob Dylan. Now, when it comes to Bob Dylan's music, familiar with a few songs, but he's an artist that I just didn't listen to much growing up or gravitate towards. Music's been a big part of my life. Growing up, we always had music playing. A lot of just classic rock and roll stuff, such as like Eagles, Santana, things like that. As I got older, kind of, gravitated to some music such as like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, listening to a lot of those. And here and there, like Bob Dylan would come in, listen to a few songs. Same would be for like Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash is one I'm familiar with a few songs, but never really listened to a lot. So going into this movie was definitely an experience, one I was looking forward to. Let's start with the cast. We have Timothée Chalamet playing Bob Dylan. We have Edward Norton as Pete Seeger. Ellie Fanning is in here as Sylvie Russo. Monica Barbaro is Joan Baez. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. And then we have many more in here. This is a pretty impressive cast. So let's get into what I liked about this movie. One being that this is set in the 1960s, and I think the elements of that worked really well. As I'm watching this, I definitely felt like I was being transported into the 60s. Everything from the music to just the look and the feel of things, the clothing, as we're walking on the streets of the big city. Most of this movie is set around the Newport folk film festival, or not film festival, but music festival. And so we spent a lot of time there, and so much of that really worked. I felt very transported and just wanted to be in this setting, which is really great. The performances are really solid as well. I thought Timothée Chalamet did a great job as Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan has this way of talking and singing. A lot of it's just almost a muffled voice in a way. There were quite a few scenes where I couldn't really make out what he was saying because he would just kind of mumble and talk over him word to word, and I'm just sitting here like, what's going on here? And I think that just shows to, how devoted he was to this person and really trying to bring the character of Bob Dylan to life. And I have to hand it to Edward Norton as Pete Seeger. Definitely a standout performance to me. I mean, Edward Norton is just one of those characters where I'm almost used to him being like a villainous type character, and now he's just this down-to-earth, really enjoys folk music. He's trying to, bring folk music to all and kind of build out this this festival, this concert, bringing in more and more talent and just bringing this music to as many people as possible. And that's where most of this story takes place, is bringing Bob Dylan into this concert and letting his voice be heard. And then we're seeing the growth of Bob Dylan through these events. And it's quite fascinating seeing the story because Bob Dylan's a songwriter as well. He is a poet, and we're seeing these moments where he's writing all these songs, but even early on, he was just handing them over to other artists to sing for them. It's almost like he was shy of being on stage, but once he got on stage and got comfortable, like he came to life. And that's moments where this film started to not work well for me as things get interesting to the point when Bob Dylan becomes famous. And like once Bob Dylan is more known to more people, that's when things of this movie just didn't quite work for me. It gets extremely repetitive. We're losing the substance of what makes Bob Dylan him. Like, we don't really get these moments of why he's writing these songs or why he's pushing so hard. You get these moments where he's aggravated because he just wants to continuously play new songs, like things that are going on in his life that he's written about, and he wants to sing and share and grow as a musician. But behind the scenes, the suit and ties that are trying to make money from this and and trying to get this out there to more people, they just realize like, well, people like this one particular song, we just want you to play this in every set. And as an artist from Bob's side, he gets tired of it and just doesn't want to continuously play the same, singing the same song over and over and over again. So there's moments of that I get the frustration. It's just, I wanted a little bit more depth around this, especially around like the whole suit and tie figures. Like, once you get with the artist, you get with the business side of things as well. And that's what interests me, is I wanted more of the story of like what's going on behind the scenes. Like, you know, Bob just seems like he just wants to roam around, write and play songs, but he's actually going into these recording studios, making albums, selling albums, getting these big paychecks. But there's part of his character I just never really felt like wanted to do that kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, he's an artist and he's got to make money to support himself and keep doing this, but he's also just kind of like floating around. So much of this movie is really about this love triangle between him and these two other girls that he's romantically involved with. So you have like that sub story, and then you've got like the business side of things of trying to grow the festival and trying to get Bob to, you know, play the songs that people want to hear. And then you've got Norton's character of, you know, just wanting to be very positive and trying to bring folk music to all these other people. And then while all this is going on, you have these changes musically in the music industry, right? You know, electronic music, and you're getting blues music, and all of this is kind of going on right now during the 60s. So it's quite fascinating. It just hits these points where things get a little bit too repetitive around Bob and how he's wanting to play new songs, and they're pushing back and like, no, you need to play the songs people want. And that drags on a little bit too long, and that's what really hurt this film for me. But as a whole, I think it's a solid film, probably 20 minutes too long, a little bit too repetitive in parts. If they would have focused a little bit more into some of the other sub-stories and not so much around this one particular thing, this probably would have worked a lot better for me. But all in all, I think if you are a fan of Bob Dylan and his music, you're gonna enjoy this. The performances are great, the setting, the 60s, like just that whole like environment, the atmosphere, the feeling you get from it really gets you involved in this movie and want to keep watching it. And yeah, I think this definitely will be a standout for many people. I think if you're into music biopics, if you're a fan of James Mangold and Walk the Line, that's also another standout performance. Boyd Holbrook, that right there was a super standout performance for me. I would love to see him portray Johnny Cash in another movie. Like, that would be incredible. So, standout performances, solid watch. Here's my rating for it. What did you think? Have you seen A Complete Unknown? Would love to know in terms of like the music biopics, do you have a favorite? Let's talk about that in the comments. Thanks so much for watching this. I'll be back later this week with more reviews. Everyone have a great week. We'll see you soon.